Um, testing, testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so hopefully I'm being heard clearly, guys. Sorry for the late start. Really. I guess I needed that sleep. Honestly, I set an alarm, but I did not hear it for the life of me. But yeah, we're just gonna get into the markets real quick. um, okay, so thank you for joining the live stream, guys. Thank you very much. Let me know if I'm being heard clearly. I'm just playing some music in the background too, so let me know if you still hear me clearly above, like if it's above my voice or anything, then just let me know what's up. But hopefully I'm being heard clearly, right? Um, yeah. So yeah, just let me know if I'm being heard good. All right. What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, let's see if we could get something out of the markets this morning, right? I am looking for sell opportunities, of course, and the reason why I say of course is because last night, around 11, right before 11, when we had the BOJ interest rate decision, which was expected to stay same. I said previously within the Discord group, both in the VIP and just the free Discord trading channel, right? That we may see that push to the upside. I mean, we can actually see that we had that swing to the upside here. Now coming into today, this morning, right? If you just take a look at the daily, we can see after that candle push upwards, we ran into these resistance zones right here, right? This being one right here, right? We can see that price peaked into that zone, and now we had this sharp rejection coming down here on the daily candle. If we go lower on the lower time frame, such as the 4 hour and the 1 hour, we can see that right here we have that rejection after this candle push upwards, right, on the 4 hour candle. And this basically signifies, this actually tells us a lot, right, on the technical price action level as well as on the fundamental level to a certain standpoint, right? So since we had this rejection from the upside here, that just shows us that okay, even though we had this momentum push, this swing to the upside, right, it was a short lasting move. So it was like sort of a impulse wave, right? So since price failed to actually push above this area here, this zone, that just shows us that okay, maybe at this point during the course of the day we could probably see a correction. Now the issue with that is whether we're going to have the volume to see it happen immediately, or is it going to be something that happens gradually. And you can see that given this current 4 hour candle here, this bearish candle, it may be a gradual thing to actually see price maybe retrace back a little bit, and maybe in the future we might set up to continue moving higher, but we still have that USD weakness in play, right? So the yen still has some strength. However, that first set of move when we had this impulse push to the upside, it was expected just because the BOJ was expected to leave their monetary policies unchanged, right? Interest rates wasn't going to increase. Markets knew that. We had that impulse wave of buying. Price failed to continue to the upside. We rechecked strongly here, and on the current 4 hour candle, we could possibly see either a correction downwards or until some recent support level, and then maybe buyers might step in to try to drive price even higher, right? Now, there's a couple of issues with that when it comes to here on JPY, just because the pound itself isn't in that much of a great spot either. We still have a lot more to see going on from the UK in terms of their policies and the promises they made as well. So it's really the two currencies right now are pretty much just being driven by the USD fundamental factors, right? So yeah, hopefully I'm being heard clearly, right? I'm hoping that you guys are hearing me clearly. I'm just talking out my lungs or nothing. All right, yeah. So coming here down to the 1 hour, where could we get the trade? All right, so we see that this is the rejection. This is the rejection here, right? We had a bearish engulfing candle closing. All right, now I'm not one particular for bearish engulfing, or whatever the case is, but since this does have some significant importance, here as price came into the zone, we saw that nice rejection. We are seeing the failure for price to continue upwards, and we're waiting to see, okay, maybe it finds some support level to continually move up, but right now we're pushing downwards. So how far can we push back? All right, so if we take a look here at the 1 hour, we could see a couple of zones, right? We have this major support zone here. The reason why it's a support zone right now is because previously we had this price break to the downside. We had the multiple retests right here into that area. Price pushed up, right? And then we had the impulse wave move to the upside here. So, and we have all these kind of rejections, these wick rejections from the side here, right? So this is another significant level right here. If we have to draw a closer level where price could probably find support in, maybe it could be somewhere around right here. All right, so we could probably see price retrace all the way back down here and then continue moving upwards. We'll see how the price action movement goes, but yeah, this would be another level to possibly watch. If you actually take a scroll back here and we extend this, right? So we see that price kind of rejected into this zone multiple times here, right? We had this, well, basically one time price came in here, pushed up, we came back, pushed up, then we had this break to the downside. All right, we could go on a lot of time frames and see just how much of this rejection it is here, but we had this break to the downside, then another break even lower, and then price gradually started coming back up, right, where we formed this significant level, the lower significant level, the more important one, and then we have this other one right here. So we could possibly see that retracement back down into here, and then price may find some support to continue moving up, right? But overall, I do think that, in terms of possibility wise, where price could go into next is right into this area here. So yes, so let's see the trade setup. Only 30-minute time frame. All right, so right now, alright, so the trade for me would be something like this. We have to get the bearish continuation, right? So this seems like the more probable trade setup for me. A 1 to 3, what we'll wait for to see is price actually push bearish below this area right here, because you could say that it is, or possibly forming a sort of support right here to continue that wave upward. Who knows? Right, we could drag this out to the side here. We can see that, all right, this is sort of a supportive level, and we just take this and we put it down here. So that is something to pay attention to. As you can see, we have a lot of levels that price could actually come in towards, right? But if we actually push lower, then we have some clean movement to the downside, right? A pretty much clean range for price to continue down, find its next supportive level to possibly push higher, right? So yeah, this would be the trade here. Let me just delete this first one from last night. All right, so we could wait to see price actually push lower, get us in, and then we should see that continuation move downwards, right? During the New York session, we might get that volume to see that continue happen. But yeah, this would be the trade. So let me just put it here. Take sell stops. And this level is 159. 814. Right, and the stop loss is at 116. Alright, and that is a total of how much pips that is. Alright, so around 36 pips. So I would like to put the pip count a little bit higher, so 36 pips. And that should be the trade here. Alright, again, looking for that sell side continuation, rejection from the upside here. I'm looking to see that bearish pressure kind of continue to this next supportive level, right, and even possibly lower. So yeah, I'm looking to see the sell pressures actually continue here. I'm looking to see the yen pick up a little bit more steam. If we see some more USD weakening, let's just take a look at any of the fundamental factors coming up. If anybody have any questions, feel free to ask. Guys, alright, cool. You guys are hearing me good. Nice. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And we look at some of the other pairs too. From yesterday as well, the last live session, we actually saw as well that the US 30 moved down, as you know, per the analysis that we did before. Let me just set my alert. Guys, so we'll be notified when we get wicked in. And let's see, US 30, US 30, yeah, US 30, right? So I talked about US 30 on the last stream. That price could either find support right here, rally to the upside, or we could get this push all the way back down into this next level here. And you can see that is actually what happened, right? So as soon price break to the downside here, this was a pretty good chance to actually get in, because after all this kind of hesitation for price to actually move in either direction, we saw that break to the downside, and then we had that continuation even lower, right? This was when the USD picked up a little bit of steam, and it wasn't specifically the US dollar itself, but I believe this was the move based off of that Euro report as well. So, and the Euro report I'm talking about is just like is a rumor, basically that from what we had in terms of the interest rate hiking, how bullish their Fed was, the representative, central bank representative, I cannot pronounce her name for the life of me. I'm just gonna say her first name like we friends, Christine. So she's, from what she said earlier before, was that we should expect some interest rate hikes from 50 basis points, and now we're hearing that maybe we'll have 50 and then 25, and it's sort of like okay, at this point we're gonna kind of step back from the aggressive interest rate hiking. So that really had an impact on the markets. On the euro side of things, we saw the euro take a nosedive, and we saw some steam being picked up on the US dollar front here, especially when it comes to the indices. Sorry, something in my eyes, guys. Right? So we saw the price do this push all the way back down here, came into the supportive level. I was talking about that. Okay, maybe as soon as reach into this area, right? At this point, this will be like the next buying point. If we're going to actually buy into US 30, then I think that will be best done into this area here. If we do see that push downwards, we'll come into this area, price might dance around, and then we might get a push above where buyers start stepping back into the market, and we might get a movement back upwards, right? And yeah, that's something we saw pretty significantly, and you can see that reflected in US 30 and not really much in the other pairs here, right? Such as the NAS 100. We saw the Chile 30 just barely move, but the US 30, that was the real mover there, right? Now even the SPX moved that much. So it's good to know your fundamentals, the basis of your fundamentals, and things you could expect from certain markets compared to others. And so I only did the analysis on US 30. Moving forward, right? So let's see. Euro CPI. So actually we have the Euro CPI coming out in the next hour. I would stay on for this because I really want to see what price does for the euro, especially since we had that earlier fall. I'd like to see what price actually decides to do here with the CPI data, if it does anything. Inflation rate is expected to come down. The consensus is 9.2% compared to the previous. So that is good for the economy. However, this may, yeah, this may help price actually rally, to be honest, because from that first initial movement that we got from the rumor of, slowing down the interest rate increase from the ECB, we may see an actual positive movement on the euro, right? Because if inflation does actually go down, that would basically signify that, okay, we're coming back into the more controlled levels. What we're doing in terms of our interest rate hiking, monetary policy tightening, whatever the case is actually working. Inflation is coming down, and that's a good thing overall, right? Want to get back into that 2-3% target that all the central banks are aiming for by the time 2024. Some have their targets set for 2025, right? So yeah, this may actually be good. If the inflation rate does come out as expected or even lower, that may help price actually rally, because that basically gives us sort of it'll basically give us a confirmation as to the rumor expectation, right? So it'll basically confirm that, all right, the interest rates increase going to kind of slow down because they are coming to achieving their targets, right? Or we're starting to see things move in our way. So maybe at this point that'll be good for the currency, right? Despite inflation being lower, is considered bad to some extent, but we have to remember the situation that we are in globally, with all the economies is super high inflation, signs of recession. So if we see that actually coming down, that means that the growth of the economy is kind of starting coming back into more controlled levels, right? So if you take a look at we're actually starting to see some movements to the upside here. All right, so with that ECB news coming out, something like Euro 80 gives us more of an option to see some buys actually push even higher, right? So this would be one area to actually pay attention to. And it's hard to say that sorry, let me take one out. It's hard to say, a level you could enter, because we could get some pullbacks. That is something that always happens. But I think even right now, it's pretty good to actually enter something like this, right? You can look to enter now for an impulsive push up. Stop loss right below the current candle, and this should continue moving upwards, right? We'll see what actually happens, but this is a trade idea I would enter. Yeah, but we'll see what will happen. Again, I say this is a trade idea I would enter, not that I'm entering. All right. So I just to clarify with you guys, because I know some of you might want to take it impulsively, but I'm not entering it, but I'm looking at it. All right. So anything that you guys want to see, anything that you guys want to discuss, anything that you're looking at and you want me to go over, feel free to do so. Let me know. Thank you for joining the stream again on such short notice. And let me know what time is like better for you guys, right? Are you guys okay with the 3:30, the 4 a.m. London session stream? Or you guys want to do it, sometime during the middle of the London session, anything? Because I really want to accommodate for you guys. Yeah, so just let me know what's up. Alright, please leave a like on the stream. I really do appreciate it. Helps out the channel, helps me pay my light bills. Right, this YouTube money, I really need it, guys. So your like counts for a lot. Yeah, but feel free to leave a like. It really helps out the channel, helps the channel get recommended, the YouTube algorithm going to help us out. I can see that price actually push a little higher. The thing with this, right, it has its own set of risk. Just because, all right, we're looking for the impulsive move upwards. We know what to expect. We know the fundamentals. We know the psychology behind it. However, on the technical analysis side of things, price action wise, there's always the risk of price actually pulling lower, right, before the move. All right, and that's the thing, doing when to enter impulsively on a trade for that impulsive push. If you should wait for some more confirmation, such as if this was, pushing up and we had like, okay, at the beginning we had sort of a rejection from the top side here, that just shows that, okay, the sellers are still in, trying to maintain this, looking to actually push price even lower. So at that point, we'll have to wait for the candle close right above this level, just to give us sort of a more of a confirmation that we're gonna see price continue moving upward, right? Um, but yeah, this would have been like the impulsive, looking for the impulsive candle push, because we have the fundamental factors. We understand what price did earlier with this downward move, and this is just sort of like off of rumors, right? So yeah, we could expect to see a correction of that, and this would be that correction, the CPI being the catalyst to see it as well. And if the inflation rate does come out as less, or just as the consensus, once it's less than the previous, that should give price the reason to rally back up, right? Because it kind of balances off the price action movement with the fundamentals as well, right? So if the ECB, if it's true that from the previous standing where we had 50 base point increase and the next 50 base point increase to be in 50 base point and then 25, because they're starting to dial it back a little bit, maybe that would be justified if we see the inflation rate actually go down, right? And this is just like the rationality of the markets, how people think, right? So yeah, with that being said, if it does come out as expected or even lower, I think that would be a good sign to actually see prices push. All right, but we already seen that it's kind of moving. It's still early on, so this has a chance to just plummet even lower. Right, I could be totally wrong. I could just be talking out of my ass. So yeah, it has a chance to actually pull back, because it's pretty early on the candle itself, right? And as we come to approaching the news, we'll have to wait and see what price decides to do. But yeah, Euro AUD moving. We're starting to see the other pairs moving. Sort of this Euro USD move that we have here. Kind of salty about this one, because we were actually in a trade on this in the VIP. I did lower my stop loss a little bit because I took it off for the market gap, and then I put it lower somewhere right around here. I think like right around here. I believe it was at the low of this candle right here, right? And then price wicked us. This was during the yen, coming up to the yen BOJ interest rate, and yeah, at that point I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna re-enter the trade or anything. I would have liked to put my to put a buy stop right here, because I was expected to come back up, but yeah, it's just like I don't really need to. So I just left it as is. Whatever it does, it does. And then from the JPY, we had a nice winner there, around 5.3% or something like that. So it was like whatever, right? It don't make sense chasing after a trade or anything like that. It would have been nice because we were being up. This would have been around 3% here, but that's just how it goes with the markets, right? That's just how it goes with trading. Yeah. So let's see what happens here, right? So you can see that price is finding some sort of support right here. Again, this is why we're waiting to see that candle push lower. Once we do get targeted in, and if this candle does turn bearish, right? Obviously, it have to turn bearish to actually trigger us in. Then that bearish continuation should just continue falling down. Yeah, if you have any questions, let's see. Do you think USD JPY can return to 129? I'll check it just now. Could you explain the euro and inflation again? I thought lower inflation, less aggressive rate increase, and therefore good for stocks, but not good for the euro currency itself. All right. Also, your face cam froze on my stream, but everything else is fine. Face cam froze. Let me check that out. Oh, looks like it did. Let me actually fix that. That's interesting. Okay, let me just try and fix this fix this issue here, guys. A face cam. Alright. That's then. Okay. Alright. We good. That was weird. Yeah, so everything good, working good now. Alright. So let's see. I think everything is good now, right? Yeah, it's kind of lagging. I don't know why. Probably Wi-Fi or something. That's interesting. Okay, so let's get into these questions right now. All right, USD JPY. If it could return to 129, let's take a look at that. 129. So that is something on here, right? If USD JPY could return to this level. All right, so yes, I do think that we could possibly return to that level. Again, the USD is pretty weak, and as you can see here in the daily time frame, multiple levels, very nice strong downtrend, right? So yes, I do think that price could actually return back into this level. When you look at it from the larger time frame, the larger time frame perspective, it's like pretty close, right? We could possibly get that happening during the course of today itself. But you can see we have this just this clean movement down, right? Multiple levels being formed, nice clean candle, support resistance level, candle with rejections. If you take a look here, the 4-hour, right? Price tried push upward here again with that yen news coming out as expected. It gave that drive upwards, sort of being negative for the yen, right? That's quote unquote negative, right? I was seeing that like quick correction back down, right? Just because overall the US dollar is still pretty weak, investors are still flooding their money into the yen itself, safe haven currency pair. I am expecting it to be sort of like that was like a rally move right there, right? So price pushed up, we gathered more support for the downside movement, and now we could gradually see that continuation happening unless we see some change in the fundamental factors, right? And at this point, it's not gonna happen anytime soon, which it should, right? But this is just how markets are. So you can't force anything. It's not like we're world leaders with trillions of dollars to do anything about it. So we just have to go with what the markets are doing. With that being said, yes, use that rally to the upside as a potential for a potential swing back to the downside with the overall move, right? That'd be more bullish on the yen and more bearish on the yen currency cross pairs, right? So bearish we're seeing the downside movement on NCD JPY, USD JPY, CAD JPY, etc., right? So yes, I do think that we could revisit back into this level. Maybe we target this as a support, but I don't expect this to be maintained. I expect it to actually be broken and price continue even lower, maybe even reaching all the way down here. Whether it happens this week or into next week, I do not know. It depends on how much momentum we have, how strong the yen actually does get once we do see that buy-in. But yeah, I do think that this level may break and price may even go lower. So I do think that it would return into this level. If you ask me at a point where you could get in onto this trade, I will tell you I definitely do not know. Reason being because one, let's just take a look at the 4-hour here. Right, we're coming to the candle close here on the 4-hour. Right. One thing to note, a lot of times when we are coming to the candle close, we could get rejections back inside into the level rather than seeing close of the candle actually being pretty strong to the downside, right? Rather than seeing like a full close down here, right? We can see sort of a rejection, so we leave a wick. At that point, you could enter the trade on the next 4-hour candle open, but I wouldn't advise that just because again, it's rather if you're gonna see the momentum continue to the downside, a price gonna start ranging or anything, right? If anything, I would say wait until you see at this level here. And just giving you guys like a example of when I would enter the trade or anything like that, right? So this is coming to you for our kind of close. As you know, something that happens a lot is rather than seeing the continuation move to the downside, you might see price actually close above right there, right? Leaving us with a nice forward candle wick, right? And then at that point, if we're going to see a continuation, hopefully, I hope that you guys are hearing me clearly because the music is kind of loud, right? Yeah, if we're gonna see that continuation, you'll like to see a break lower below these lows here, right? So a break lower here. Now we have these to be worried about. Maybe this could be a form of support again, but because we are in this major zone and price is pushing down, you would expect that bearish pressure to continue, right, to the next major supportive level, which will be here. So at that point, I do think that you can enter once you see price actually pull below these areas here. So let me just pull that up. Excuse me. So yeah, if you get that candle close down here, if it forms on this current candle, the forward candle close, I wouldn't enter, to be honest, just because of past experience with how price action is. I'll wait for the next candle or the new forward candle to form first, right? The first hour or so. Let that candle form first, and then enter the trade if you see it actually being formed below this area, right? Therefore, you have more of a confirmation or a clear consensus that price is going to continue that downward movement rather than just rally on that forward candle, right? Because this is a pretty strong bearish push downwards, right? And with the forward candles, there's big areas that you're dealing with, but with the 1 hour candles, a lot of times, especially on USD JPY, you can see things like this here, right? So candle push upwards, you can see price just correct on the next hour candle or anything like that, and so forth, so forth. Right, it happens on all the currency pairs, but it's something that I think is more there's more of a likelihood of it happening, especially when you come into the forward candle close on USD JPY, right, or any other JPY pairs to be exact, right? So yeah, I would wait to actually see that happen first, right? Once price push downward here, I wouldn't get on the candle close, on this forward candle close. I'll wait for the next 1 hour of the new forward candle, right, and see what that does first, right? If it allows price to actually push even lower or stay or maintain below this level, then sure, you'll enter and you could possibly see that ride all the way downwards. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I did not confuse you and that answers your question. All right, cool. Next question. Could you explain the euro and inflation again? I thought lower inflation, less aggressive rate increase, and therefore good for stocks, but not good for euro currency itself. All right, so I'm gonna dissect that comment into parts, right? And let's just take a look at the euro. All right, we're gonna see what this is doing in the meantime. All right, dissecting that question into parts. Euro and inflation again, and you thought that lower inflation is equal to less aggressive rate increase and therefore good for the stocks. That is true, but not good for the euro currency itself. All right, so there's a duality with that. I'm looking for the words to explain this in the simplest of forms. Okay, yeah, so there's a duality with it, right? Yes, usually when you have the lower inflation, right, means less aggressive rate hikes. That is true, right? And therefore, yes, that is good for the stocks and the euro currency itself. That would be bearish, quote unquote bearish, right? But the thing to note right now is inflation is well above their targeted levels, right? The rate increase is to help combat that inflationary that rise, right? Is to basically cut back on the lending, keep people in check with their spending, and bring that inflationary level back downwards to more control levels, which is that 2 to 3% target that everybody's aiming for. That's the sweet spot of inflation, right? So with that being said, yes, the rate increase, the rate hike itself is towards bringing inflation back down. Now, this is two things, right? During yesterday, right, we had a rumor report from one of the ECB members that we're probably gonna see the rate increase lessen over time, right? And that's because inflation is coming back down. So they'll start to take things a little bit slower, right? Look at all the other data points, all the other factors that they do have, and they might actually lessen the aggressiveness that they have towards increasing rates to help bring inflation back downwards. It is exactly as you said, that inflation, right? The lower inflation means less aggressive rate hikes, right? That is true. So hence now, when we look at the current what to expect with the inflationary level, this is why I said coming to today's trade, right? The euro move to the upside. Why price may move to the upside, right? The inflation level, the consensus we have is less than the previous, right? That is the consensus. Now, because of yesterday and what we had being said, firstly, and you can see actually price pulling down here, right? So firstly, from ECB President Larage, however the hell you say she name, right? Miss Christine, right? She was very adamant on them continuing hiking interest rates, 50 base point increase, next 50 and so forth, until they saw inflation come back down, and that is what they're doing to combat the inflationary level and so forth, right? However, with yesterday we had the rumor, and we also heard that it's getting more support, is that after the first 50 base point increase, we may actually see it being reduced or half to being 25, right? So that just shows that from that first aggressive stance they had on the interest rates increase, it's kind of taking back on your word, right? So you tell people one thing, what all you're going to do, and now you're saying something different. That is why price drives so much to the downside, right? Why we saw the euro weakened a little bit with this first if you look here, with this first candle push downwards, right? That's why we saw this kind of movement to the downside. All right, because she kind of is like reneging on your word, right? Taking back what you said, and that's basically what happened to the markets, right? Obviously, coming to today, if we see inflation actually come down, what that would basically mean is that, all right, it justifies the current stance or the change in stance that we're seeing from the ECB now, right? Which is that less aggressive interest rate hike. So if rates do, sorry, not rates, but if CPI comes out lower, or if inflation comes out lower, then that would be good, because it justifies that first rumor or that first initial the talks about the interest rate itself being decreased from the overall hawkish stance they had on it previously, right? So that is what this trade now is based on. But yes, you're right. Usually, lower inflation, interest rates increase they would dial it back a little bit as inflation goes down. Yes, and that is to control, because it's a balancing act with everything, right? But it's to control the overall it's to control the overall spending situation, loaning from banks, and all of that biz, right? So yes, just to take that into consideration. But in terms of the market psychology where we are at right now, if everything does come out lower than expected, CPI comes out lower, and the inflationary rate itself comes out lower as well, that should be a hawkish stance for the euro right now, because this first movement downwards was based off of hearing that they're going to kind of dial back inflation. So if we justify that with today's news coming out, then that should be bullish for the dollar. So hopefully that makes sense, right? I'll do a separate video on it, explaining it like more clearly if that still is kind of confusing for you. But yeah, that's basically it. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you want me to clarify anything, or if that's a good enough explanation for you, right? If there's anything that you want me to clarify, let me know. But yes, you're right, because usually that is the order that it follows. But you have to remember we're dealing with recession fears, a bunch of different shit, right? So it's really a balancing act right now from all the central banks around the world, in terms of what they're doing right now. If we're actually gonna see inflation dive back down, what that means, right? And so forth. Because the same thing could be said for in terms of like the US dollar itself too, right? The past USD news that we had was pretty positive, right? With the jobless claims, we had CPI being a little better than expected, not by much, was like by 0.096. Yeah, the increase was minuscule, but still an increase. But the jobless rates, the jobless claims, all of that, the numbers were good, and yet we saw that US dollar continue to dive even more, right? And that is because of the market sentiment, basically, and the psychology surrounding the dollar itself, which is recession is bound to hit us. Whether the numbers are good or not, it could be taken either way, right? If the economy doing so well, right? Inflation is coming back down. If it's coming back down too fast, it's concerning for investors, right? Interest rates increase, slowing down, even though everything is looking nominal, everything's coming back towards good levels, and we're probably gonna see our next economic boom. There's still more concerns that maybe we're gonna start tanking, maybe we're gonna start seeing that movement happening too fast. Oh shit, it's time to move our money out because now the markets are gonna crash. So forth, so forth. Whether the economy is doing good, whether it's doing bad, it's a balancing act. Markets will take it however they want it. But yeah, this is just part of it, right? So the move to the upside itself would be justified if everything does come out lower. If not, we could still see that correction, right? Because it could just be used as a catalyst. But if it does come out higher, then I think that should continue driving price even lower for the euro. Just because at that point it would be like, well, shit, if CPI high and if inflation is still high, then why the hell we hear in this rumor that the ECB is going to lessen they're becoming more they're becoming less hawkish and their interest rate increase. Like what does this mean? What they're trying to do? What they're trying to say, right? And markets could panic. I don't think we have the volume right now, but we could take that into consideration and just see price tank to the downside, right? So it's really anybody's guess. That the markets could just move however it wants. But yeah, this is how I see it from a fundamental standpoint. That correction could come if everything looks justifiable here. So we'll see in the next 30 minutes what price decides to do. Anybody have any other questions? I leave a like on the stream. I'm departing knowledge to you guys. Let's look at the ECB. The JPY, sorry. All right, so we saw that bullish candle has now reversed on us, leaving this wick above right here, pretty nice from the upside, and price is actually currently pushing down. We're still into the zone, looking for it to peak downwards and get that possible continuation even lower. Again, this is coming to the 4-hour candle close, so be advised that the next hourly candle and the initial beginning of that new 4-hour candle, we need to be aware of that it could possibly wake up even more above this level and then continue to dive, right? This is why I'll give the trade around 2 chances, and why I usually around that 4 a.m. mark I really give my trades 2 chances, just because of the price action itself. So waiting to see that price actually push lower. Once we do get that breakout of the zone, smooth sailing downwards. Well, not sure, but hopefully smooth sailing downwards back down here, right? So yeah, just waiting to see what price manages to do. I already put some positions here, entered pretty early, like right around here, and I say it should have been triggered here, I think. Right, I think my alert is a little bit lower. So yeah, okay, triggered now. Price pulling down. This is 30 minutes to this candle close, right? So be advised that price could actually pull higher, probably. So at this point, yeah, manage your trades. Look at that. All right, okay then. All right, Oh, shit. Well, I mean, okay. So at this point, you can manage your trades. This is around 1 to 1, right? And I just pull this up. Yeah, around 1%. Yeah. Yeah. So at this point, you can manage your trades. You can move your stop lower, and yeah, just manage it. You could take half off and just pay stops to break even. This is on the current 30-minute candle. So coming to this forward candle close. So we could actually see price wick back up here. It could do anything at this point, right? But yeah, just manage your trades and so forth, so forth. We might see that continuation moving downwards. Obviously, I'm not paying anything past price. It does a lot of weird shit. Um, but you should see a continuation after this break, right? We had a nice strong bearish pull to the downside here. We should see that continuation move downwards. So even if you just leave your stops as is, I think the market itself should continue all the way till TP, right? So yeah, hopefully this was a winning trade for you. Feel free to take out from your trade, take some profits, so forth, so forth. And yeah, that happened. Let's take a look at these here. So the euro AUD, right? Leaving that wick to the upside. So I would, if you enter this trade and you were looking for price to continue moving up and maybe you're still holding, if you do get stopped out, I do think that you could just re-enter right around the same position, the same level, for price to continue diving higher, to pushing higher. Sorry, right? That does come with an inherent risk because again, on the next hour candle, we don't know what price would do, right? It could actually just wick down first before heading up, so you might put yourself in an unnecessary situation. But yeah, it depends. If you have the risk tolerance fit, then feel free to jump into that as well. Let's take a look at some of the 80 stuff. I wonder if USD JPY actually pushed down with that too. Yep. Yeah, USD JPY pushed down with that too. So yeah, for the boys in the back, if you enter USD JPY, so some of you would have left this stream if you joined with some profits. I'm glad to be of service to you guys. I'm but a humble servant of the Forex gods. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we have a few, right? We have a few minutes leading up to that euro news. I really want to see what price decides to do here. I was looking at AD CHF as well for a possible continuation even lower here, and I did have a position on. Was it? It was an AD position. No, it was CAD CHF. Sorry. Yeah, CAD CHF. I had a position on CAD CHF here. I did take this. But not on my account. It's something I'm doing for somebody as well. Yeah, I did take this as a trade here. I didn't sell it because it just seemed like a sort of a riskier thing to do, especially after we had the JPY win. It was, yeah, people probably sleeping on stuff, so I didn't bother sending it out. But yeah, this played out nicely. Let me I can move this a little. I can move this right now. So ADCHF, I think price does have some room to continue to the downside here. Looking here at the forward, I'm not too particularly happy about the kind of ranging situation we have right here. We look at the daily time frame. We are it's pretty choppy to say the least. But I do think that we could probably fill out this wick here, right? I do think we could possibly fill out all this right here. You could say that we are coming back more into the supportive lows. But I think this is like a riskier situation right now. If I did enter, right around here. Like if the candle did push, I had my entry right around here. I will leave it and let it play out. But right now, yeah, I won't look to actually enter the trade for that continuation move. It's just, yeah, I don't have it in me to do that. It seems like an unnecessary risk. ADJPY, this was one of the trades that we took as well at the earlier start of the week. First initial position here, if we held, that would have been pretty nice. Wow, that would have been 9%. That's crazy. And this next one would have been around. First of all, the target was somewhere right here, right? So I wanted 3.5, somewhere like that. That would have been nice as well. But I closed it at break even or around break even because price was just dancing around. I didn't want to hold it, so yeah. Yeah, but that would have been a nice move if I coulda, woulda, shoulda hold it. But yeah, markets gave us more opportunities, so we just dived into the other stuff and cut our losses where we could. Break even, but still, it is what it is. Yeah. Reset this. Alright, so we live in this wick. We'll see. Price could possibly close all the way down here, and then on your next candle, we could just drive all the way to the TP level. But yeah, I would say at this point, you could put your stop losses at break even, and if you do get stopped out at break even in the next candle formation, you could re-enter the trade for that possible swing back down. Just because we have this bearishness into the market right now. We should see that bearish continuation. No really reason for price to peak all the way back up here or not respect this candle wick up to the top here, right? So yeah, this is the trade. So I'm gonna put a limit on this, so we'll know if it hits break even or if it just comes close, and then price. Okay. It didn't actually hit, it just went until the candle itself. Right, so okay, we had the level, we played at the level here. We just gotta, if it triggers, then we know that, alright, price came all the way back to the break-even point. And then we could just look to, re-enter back into the trade for the next set of profit at, at the next hourly candle formation. Or if we're just gonna continue with the momentum strong to the downside, right? My camera's acting up. I don't know why. Alright, so my camera is acting up. Very much so. Alright, I don't know why, guys. So I don't know why I'm doing this. Alright, so I think that should help reset it. Alright, so hopefully you guys got something out of this, right? If you guys got a trade out of this, let me know. I would really like to know. And yeah, leave a like. Feel free to leave the likes. Appreciate the likes. Help me pay my light bills. Alright. Yeah, hopefully the camera's working good, right? Kinda laggy. I don't know why it's doing this though. I don't know. The Euro stuff. So we still have 20 minutes for the Euro. Let's see whether we get a play out of this or not. Alright, I'm actually gonna set a trade here on the to do or not to do. Yeah, I'll set a small trade on Euro 80 here. Basically risk around 0.5%. Just again because right price could wick us out firstly. So being aware of that, keenly aware of that. So let me just I had to pause this for a second. Just set that real quick, guys. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. On the Euro 80, just gonna enter it. A little risk, like half the risk. And my targeted level is at 155,274. Alright, so whatever price decides to do, it does. Not really risking much, so I don't really have much to lose. Whatever happens here. Alright, so I'm just gonna what the hell? I'll be back. Alright. Is my chat lagging? Alright, so we'll see what happens here. But yeah, nice win on stream for once. We took a win on the stream itself, wasn't after the stream. Let's take a look at the USD JPY. Excuse me. USD JPY came down pretty strongly, and we actually pushed all the way to like a 2% profit here on USD JPY, right? Yeah, we should on the next candle. I do think that we should just continue moving downwards. Yeah, I think on the next candle it should just continue moving downwards. Anything could happen with the markets, any markets, right? So don't take my word for it. Don't try to enter preemptively just because price pushed down and you're like, all right, clear strong move to the downside. I'm gonna jump in it right now, even though it's kind of late after the move happened itself. Doesn't matter. You could still see that drive downwards, right? Don't be that guy. All right, if you miss the move, you miss the move. Don't be that guy trying to catch a late move, because that's when the market's gonna humble you and say, nah, psych, you thought. Yeah, you don't wanna be in that position. Damn, glad CHS rallying. Alright, this actually turned bearish here. Right now, we have 16 minutes for the candle close. Maybe just not pass all the significant levels lows here at the supportive level. Pretty nice. Next targeted level lows right around here. Just gotta take a look at the other fundamental factors that we have coming out today. Let's see. So, a lot of USD news. Am I going to be trading during that time? Probably not. We have retail sales, PPI. Retail sales, right? Expected it to come out a little bit more bearish. Yeah, retail sales expected to go down here as a year comparison. We have some Fed speeches, Fed Harker, not really, and Fed Bullard, not really much. JPY, balance of trade, not really important to look at right now. Then we have the AD unemployment. That's good shit. So we're gonna be taking a look at this. That is later tonight. Around this is 10:30, I believe. Is it? No, it's like 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that. Yeah, around. So I'm gonna say 8, right? Okay, yeah, unemployment looking to remain the same, around the same percentage, this actually should fall a little bit off, a little bit more, but we'll see, right? If that's what the city consensus is, then so be it. Employment change. Employment change is pretty low, the consensus compared to the previous. So this is bad. If employment change does actually come as low or even lower, yeah, the higher the number, the better. Hopefully it comes out a little bit high. It should be higher than this, right? So we'll see how that affects the AED moving forward. Maybe we could get sort of like a retracement play on something like AD CHF, right? A correction. If price does push up back above this level here, then yeah, corrections above. AD JPY something as well. Maybe we might get a correction push above too. But I wouldn't bet on it just because JPY strength right now is because of that weaker USD. That is like the basis of the move itself, like the foundation of the yen strength. So yeah, I wouldn't bet on that. But we'll see. We'll actually take a look as it comes closer down to that time to actually look at it. Right? Right, so price pulling back here, right? So we're coming back close to this. Sorry. Coming back close to the stop loss, leaving a pretty nice wick being left here. Right. So again, if you do get, if you didn't take profits or whatever the case is, and you get stopped out of this position at break even, then have no fear. Price should continue moving downwards. You could take the risk of re-entering the trade right around that, but I'll say wait for like the first 30 minutes of that new forward candle to form first, right? Let price push up if it wants to a little bit, right? Catch those new selling positions, those new sell pressures to continue moving to the downside. At that point, you could re-enter the trade and just let it sail back to this significant target level here, right? If not, then you just come out at break even. It's no loss is a win, right? So that's like my philosophy at this point. Right. Yeah, hopefully everybody's hearing me. Restore this and just pop this out again. Yeah, because I don't know if it's lagging or not. So yeah. Alright guys. So you're coming close, 10 minutes, 10 minutes to this to the ECB news, and that's really what I really waited on. And after that, we end the stream. Whether price might just come up more positive or bearish or whatever the case is, then we'll not risking much on this trade, just like 0.5% on this trade. So whatever happens. I think my camera froze. Yeah, my camera froze again. That's great. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm gonna just stop it. I'm gonna stop it. I really don't know what's the cause of that. Alright, so I'm just gonna take this off for now. See price pull it back, a little bit here. All part of the price action trading, guys. All part of the price action trading. Oh. right? Yeah, no, if this actually stops out, then yeah. And let me take a look at the indices that we have going on here. If we have anything at all, not much really. So it's like a more bearish push here on the US 30. I think we could get a continuation move back upwards though. Like, if I'm to go on US 30, during the retail sales information and all of that we have coming up, which is around 9:30. So right around when stocks, the NY session, right, stocks open around there. Yeah, I just think that if we're able to drive above this, then we should get a clean move back to the upside here, probably somewhere up here. So yeah, I think that's a possibility too. Right, so I'm just gonna leave this. I'm not taking it. I do not trade US 30 and indices like that. Excuse me. But I would look at it. I don't know, maybe I'll make a separate account just for this. But yeah, this seems like, you know, a scenario that's has a potential to play out too. So we'll just take a look at it. I'll see. You know, we'll see what price does coming up, you know, for the rest, the continuation of the day, what happens with the US dollar and everything like that. Take a look at the DXY. Well, crap. Look at that. The XY came up, tried to find that rally, then plummeted. So we could see sort of right, so like one of the things to note, right, is okay, we have the DXY plummeted from here. We take a look at this, right? That's why we had this nice euro move here. That's why we had the AD/USD kind of move to the upside, not really much. We came into like now passing this sort of a daily high level. GBP/USD continued upwards, not really as strong as something like the euro, and SGD/USD, same thing, right? The risk commodities, the risk assets didn't really do that much. But for the Euro USD, we had a very nice strong move, right? You can see just like the strength of this move, like the price action itself, a lot more cleaner, compared to the others, right? And that's off of like the currency relative strengths to each other, as well as what each currency basically, what it mean in terms of like the sentiment behind it, right? So yeah, in times of like when the USD is doing bad, the euro could do pretty well, right? Vice versa, as well as usually with the GBP/USD, the GBP peso for the pound, that is also something that happens. But with that being said, the pound itself, right? We have our own sort of fundamentals that affecting the pound strength too. So that's why we saw, you know, the moves kind of not as clean, not as nice as Euro USD, right? Let's take a look at the US. So USD card, not really much. Even though we saw the DXY move so much, USD CHF, that's where it's at. Price pulled down pretty significantly. I was looking at this too, but again, didn't risk it. Didn't really have a need to. And the USD JPY, sort of what we could, you know, attest this move to. Take a look at gold. Gold moved up a little bit. Not that excited on gold. I don't trade gold, so I really can't tell you if this move means a lot to people or not. I guess it does, but I don't know. Yeah, so gold could probably continue rallying up to the upside, even higher above these above these daily highs here, right? Let me just take a look at that JPY, because apparently we didn't get stopped out yet. Alright, so yeah, coming closer to the candle close. Yeah, at this point, I would just say, you know, you could call it quits and just look to re-enter the next candle. Alright, but if you want to be that guy and just stay in it, if hit your stop loss, hit your stop loss at break even, then sure. Because obviously, right now in the last 4 minutes, price could just push all the way back down. We don't know, right? Yeah, so I think at this point, a lot of people will get targeted back in. Yeah, you'll get targeted on your stop loss level. Yeah, I think at that point people will get hit out of the stop, out of the trade. Right, well, I hit it at break even and get some profits off of it, and that's great. Obviously, these momentum moves, impulse moves to the downsides and stuff like that is something you have to take with a grain of salt as well. Just because it doesn't have to be a long-lasting move, right? Or depending on the strength or what caused the move to happen in the first place is something to note as well. So yeah, we should see that big fill continue to the downside. So I would say first 30 minutes, let that candle form. Let's see a peak to the upside on the next candle, and then we'll just see a continuation movement all the way back down to the profit target level, right? So just got spiked out, triggered out, and that's that. EUR/AUD coming back above these levels. We have 3 minutes waited. So we'll see whether or not that CPI news, inflation news does anything for the euro. Whether it pushes us up, whether it pushes us down, or it leaves us at the break-even level, barely doing anything. We'll see. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully you guys got something out of that. Let me know, because like everybody just stopped talking, right? I feel like I'm streaming by myself here. Yeah, but hopefully you got something out of that trade. Guys, leave a like on the stream. It really helps if everybody could like. Helps recommend the videos out there to others that will probably find it interesting or informative or useful. I really do appreciate it, and I very much do appreciate you joining the stream right now. It really helps the channel. I really want to grow the channel into becoming one of the bigger trading communities out there, helping young traders become successful in the markets. Right, so I do appreciate your part, your role that you guys play into this as well. Yeah, starting from nothing, just making community because I don't really like what everybody else was doing. When I see mentors not really participating with the communities and just having just not doing what a community should do. I really want to help the average person, and that is why TrinFx was created, especially for the Trinidadians in my region, but Trini people very stingy with their money and about taking risks. So that is something that still has yet to pan out for me over here. But it's open to everybody, right? So if you guys found it informational, you found it educational, you got some value out of it, then that's all that I could ever hope for. Okay, we have an hour. Sorry, not hour. We have a minute to go. So price is pulling back a little bit, gradually pulling down. That's not nice. So we're gonna see whether we're gonna get that push up, or we're just gonna It's a pretty aggressive, tight stop loss. So if we do get spiked out, can't really blame price for that. Because it's a pretty aggressive stop loss, right? So we'll see what happens. News coming down, CPI. As for the VIP members, I would continue trading for the course of the day. If we do get some setups, we'll see. I'm looking to possibly buy into some AD positions, so we'll see whether or not we actually get those positions to buy into, or if we're just gonna have to wait for price to do its thing. So Let me just refresh this. It's taking some time for the data to actually pull up here, right? I'm just gonna refresh this. Not much, right? So this new candle formed here. I didn't really get nothing. Alright, inflation rate remained the same at 9.2%. Okay, so these numbers, so I'm gonna have to just wait for a minute to see what actually transpires here. We had a nice strong bull close to the upside, so we could swing this either way, right? Price could continue moving up on this, possibly just using this as a supportive zone to continue moving upwards, regardless of whatever the news, whatever the results is. So yeah, I'll leave my trade alone. Like I said, I entered this trade, so whatever happens, happens. Risking like 0.5%, so really not much. So if it does win, it's like around 2%, right? Because this is basically a 1 to 4. So yeah, price pulled back here. So if you're going to re-enter on JPY, just remember, let this first 30 minutes of this candle form. Again, using this level as that level where you want to see price close below, you could wait until the candle close below, or if price does break back down to the downside, at that point we should see that continuation move lower, right? So this could be a second opportunity to gain some more gains. I am going to actually put my sell stops here again, just to let price run and do its thing once more, right? Potentially we could get that play all the way back to the downside, netting us that 3% profit there. So I don't know why my FX book taking this long to update these numbers. Okay, let me check Forex Factory. It's a while I haven't used Forex Factory, to be honest. Today is the 18th. Euro, CPI. Alright, 5.2%. So the consensus and the actual is the same, right? Okay, so yeah, it remained the same for the CPI numbers. And so the inflationary rate, same thing. Alright, have the revision too. I said, looks like it came out as expected, right? So that's probably why we're not seeing much movement here on the euro itself. Alright, so I do think that we should see that continuation. However, not the catalyst that we expected to see, right? So price just it's just meh. Alright, so I think that's it for me, guys. So like I said, you can re-enter once price does, push back down here. As you see, we're leaving a nice wick to the upside. As we push past this area, wait for that first 30 minutes to go, right? Just because price pushed lower doesn't mean you should enter one time. Wait for that first 30-minute candle to close on this new hourly candle here, and then take your positions and let it go, right? I'm going to put my sell stops as is. I'm willing to take that risk. It really doesn't matter to me at this point if it results in a 1% drawdown or whatever the case is from this trade. If it stops me out, that's okay, because overall we are pretty up in the VIP group with all the trades that we've taken thus far, right? So this really doesn't matter if it results in a 1% loss. That's why I'm able to kind of swing it with the risk management and just put my sell stops. But you want to wait for the first 30-minute candle to close and then see price continue downwards, right? If it is to do that. But yeah, that's about it. Hopefully everybody found this informational. You got some value out of it. I really do appreciate you joining. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow as well in the morning as usual. During the London session time, I'll actually come out at 3:30 as previously expected. Right? So thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one. That's about it.